Sup guys, Beersy here. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age released, and for the most part, everyone seems to enjoy the new HD remaster. Now, I recently made a video on its predecessor, International Zodiac Job System, which I'll have up here, so you can see what the Zodiac Age was before it was a HD remaster. And now I've had some time to sit down and relish in its glory once more, I also found that there have been more improvements made to the Zodiac Age. Today I'll be taking a look at what was added in Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. Let's get the obvious visual stuff out of the way. Most of the in-game textures, fonts, and character models are now higher resolution compared to the original release. The CG cutscenes have had a bit of a facelift as well, and have now been upscaled. They look super crisp. Sadly, the awesome intro cutscene no longer exists. Aww. When you boot up the game, you'll be sent straight to the title menu. Some of the lighting effects in the lower light areas, such as Rabanasta Lowtown and the Barheim Passage, have now been changed to look more realistic. The audio has now been reworked to feature 7.1 surround sound. And we now have a brand new reorchestrated soundtrack, courtesy of original composer Hitoshi Sakamoto, and the soundtrack from the original game. Those of us who bought the beautiful Steelbook edition, with the awesome art from character designer Akihiko Yoshida, look at it, it's just so damn beautiful. And those of you lucky enough to get the collector's edition, can obtain the original background music DLC, which is basically the updated CD version of the original soundtrack. All three soundtracks can be changed on the fly seamlessly. You now have the ability to change the voiceover audio between Japanese and English. I recommend the Japanese audio if you haven't heard it yet, or for the awesome Mercurian voice effects, which were sadly lost on the English audio.
君の願いは別の人間に託してくれ。
とうに叶えられた。眉は砕け。浜関の歴史は終わった。世界はもはや不滅なるものを必要とはしない。君の歩みを見届ける。共に行こう。
Sadly, if there's one thing that I criticize, is that the original voiceover sounds a little better, but it wasn't cleaned up like I hoped it would be. Here, have a listen, and let me know in the comments what you think about this.
What? Hey, that's mine.
What do you mean, yours? You've been stealing again. What happens if they catch you? We need you to be there for us, Vaughn. You're no good to anyone if you're locked away in a dungeon.
Oh, what? Am I the leader now?
One of the more polarizing features of the Zodiac Age, in my opinion, is the autosave function. Now, I'm 50-50 on this one. I'm more used to the old style save point, but Square Enix must have known about the random disk ejection fault on most PS4 systems. God, I hate that fucking thing. Or it might just be a coincidence, but this just helps in the long run, as it auto-saves on every area change. It does not affect gameplay at all, but it allows you to pick up from where you exactly left off whenever you please. Only downside is, you can't turn this off. Now another feature I covered in my IZJS comparison video was the addition of Turbo Mode! This makes a reappearance in the Zodiac Age, but now there's two modes of Turbo. There is now Turbo Mode! And Super Turbo Mode! This is essentially a ×2 and ×4 turbo mode to make things easier for grinding. But I'm going to preface this with a warning here, and say that even though it may be tempting to use this all the time, don't. Trust me, admire the changes around you, unless you let time slip you by and you'll miss all that is utterly beautiful about this HD remaster. For those of you who have played it before, 2 times turbo would be best, but if you're playing this for the millionth time and only want to experience the story, ×4 is fine. One of the most useful features in the Zodiac Age is when you press L3, an overlay map will appear. This is great when you're utterly lost, and it helps you to plot your next course. This also helps for certain areas in the game, such as the lower half of the Feywood, or the forest at Ridorana, where the minimap is utterly useless. Unfortunately, however, don't expect this to work in the Great Crystal. You'll only get an image of the great big hunk of junk. The trial mode comes back for a second round here, testing your character's mettle. Check out my previous video for what the trial mode is if you haven't played the Zodiac Age yet. In IZJS, if you override a main game save whilst in trial mode, you will lose your progress in the main game. In the Zodiac Age, however, you can come back to the main game via a trial mode save. If you overwrite the main game save, however, you will lose your progress in trial mode. The bestiary, which used to have large pictures of each of the enemies and bosses you face, have now been changed for full-scale in-game models. The Sky Pirate's Den has been abolished in favour of the trophy system. I miss the Sky Pirate's Den. You can now change the X and Y axes if you're into using a different camera control layout. And finally, I've saved the best one for last. In IZJS, instead of a full license board, you had the ability to choose a job-specific board with differing abilities and proficiencies. I have a more in-depth look into these in my IZJS video. Now, in Zodiac Age, when you defeat Belius at the Tomb of Wraithwall, you unlock a new node on your current job board right next to Belius's node. Unlocking this node allows you to choose a second job for that character. You can choose a job that complements or contrasts your character and rounds out your main team. This is definitely useful for main parties that don't initially have attacks that exploit certain weaknesses, who don't have a dedicated black or white mage, or just allow your team to be ready for any confrontation. So, that's all of Zodiac Age's improvements. Let me know in the comments, what was your favourite edition? Did you enjoy the original? Or do you love Zodiac Age? Or maybe you prefer International Zodiac job system? Either way, this is still a great mainline Final Fantasy game, which has been cemented by the Zodiac Age. So, standard protocol here guys, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for future content, and maybe throw me a comment or two. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I would also like to give a huge thank you to the over 1,000 people who watched my International Zodiac job system review. Over 1,000 views doesn't really seem like much, but to me it means a whole damn lot, really. Thank you very, very much, and I hope to have a new video soon. Peace out! Today, I'll be taking a look at what was added in Final Fantasy XIII. Fuck, wrong game.